When your muscles are sore,
Uh,
even though it's sore, it hurts.
yes.
But do you feel good?
I feel good because I'm getting the result.
And you feel like you've done something,
Yes.
right? So how many times do we avoid pain in our lives because we have a negative connotation to it? Hi, podcast tribe. Gerald Hubert here on the Unlock Your Growth podcast. This is the podcast that helps you to unlock your growth and to become the person that you have been made to be. Have you ever felt like life is not progressing? Like you wake up one morning and you realize that you've been stuck in a time bubble for the last 5 or 10 years, that you are no longer growing, that your circumstances are still the same and nothing is moving forward. If this is the way that you feel, then don't go anywhere, because today's podcast is exactly for you. And here to introduce today's topic is my co-host, Christian Nyambue.
Hi, tribe, and thank you so much, Gerald, for the introduction. And I'm so excited to have this discussion with you today because I know that our listeners are going to get more value from this. And then this is why today we are going to talk about the 5 reasons why they are not growing.
The 5 reasons why you are not growing. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into them, into the first one, because I actually think that most of our listeners will be surprised at the 4th point. But we'll get to that when we get there. Most people underestimate the impact that has in their lives. But the first point that we're going to talk about today is the first reason why you are not growing is because you have stopped learning. And that sounds like, almost like, duh, like obviously, if you're not learning, you are not growing. But many of us, we actually don't realize that. We don't think about learning, which is an activity that we have to purposefully engage in. We don't think of that as being part of our growth process. When we need to grow, I think many times then we start to look at learning new things because we are forced to grow. But for the most part, when we're just going about our lives, many people neglect learning new things. And so, Christian, I want you to just talk about that a little bit, and maybe you can share even some of your own experiences from your life in how not learning or learning the wrong things or not knowing that learning is important has impacted your growth and what you did to overcome that.
I think I can just give one example. It's a painful one, but it's an example of not learning, especially from my mistakes. Just last week, I've been I was in the market trading some stocks. I saw, I had in my head that what's the decision that I'm taking, it's wrong. Because the other time, it was painful, but I still took this decision, and I did the same thing, meaning that I didn't learn from my mistakes, and then that's painful, and then that can be something that can make you stuck and not grow because you don't learn from your mistakes. And I could even do more or just walk away or just do something else, but I didn't stop. I continue in my mistakes. And then this is the reason why, most people, they don't grow, because they do the same things, the same mistakes over and over, and then they continue in the same way. And then no one can grow by doing the same thing as that.
It's like that saying that says, the definition of foolishness is that you do the same things over and over again, but you expect different results. That's craziness. It's crazy. You can't do that. And yet, we continue to do that. We continue not to learn from our mistakes because we're not in a mindset of learning most of the time, right? We're going through life, but you are not paying attention to life. So you're not learning the lessons that you need to learn in order to grow in life.
And most of the time we are stuck. We don't want to learn new things because of our comfort zone. Or because we believe that we put faith in our mistakes. No, okay, I think it's going to be like this. No, I think this now it's going to work out. But still, it's the same thing. So, if we practice by not repeating our mistakes, we can grow from that. So it's a very, very painful way of growing, but we have to take that step to learn from our mistakes by learning new things, or by doing what is right.
I think also learning also helps us to avoid mistakes, right? Because you can learn through experience, or you can learn from other people's experience. And when you are reading a book or watching a YouTube video or listening to the Unlock Your Growth podcast, or you are busy learning from other people's experience so that you don't have to repeat that same mistake. But I think many of us, the reason why we fail to learn, or why we don't have a learning mindset, is because we think what we have and who we are right now is enough. We don't see that we need to grow. We don't see the need for us to change. And so we think we don't need to learn anything. It's like a child. I remember with my son, sometimes he will be trying to do something, and then I want to show him how to do it, and he's like, "No, Daddy, I can do it on my own. I don't need you to show me." And I understand he wants to try on his own, which is good. But then if you've never seen anybody do it, even when you do it, it's probably going to be wrong. And so he does it, but it's all kinds of messed up, and then I have to go and show him, then I'll teach him. But he went through this very long process of making mistakes, and then in the end, then he has to be corrected anyway. But if I had shown him once and then said, "Okay, now you try," at least he would have had something to draw from, in his experience, to say, "Okay, I've seen this before. Somebody has already showed me. It's easier for me now to learn and to put things together than just to try and learn from scratch." But I think many times we are proud in our thinking, and then we say, "Well, I don't need to learn. I don't want to learn from anybody else. I'm okay. I can do this. I failed 5 businesses, but this one is going to work. But I didn't do anything else to increase my understanding or my knowledge, or to learn from the experience or from other people's experience to see what I can do different." So learning it really is important in a foundational phase of growing, because behind everything in which we grow, there is the place of growing, the place of learning. So I just want to ask you, what do you think, if you could say, things that people need to use in order to learn? What are some of the key things that you use in your own life and that you think our listeners can benefit from, in places that you can draw from to learn, like books, or different things that you can go to where people can learn from in order to get experience? So because learning has become very easy, actually. We live in a world where information is everywhere. You just go on your phone and ask Google, or to YouTube, or look, just ask somebody on Facebook. It's so easy to learn, but you can learn from the wrong sources as well. So what do you think are some good places to learn from?
I think I will say there's the free way of learning, way to get the free way, one. and then there's the paid one. And they all depend in what you really want. So there's YouTube. You can find any information you want from YouTube, depending from who you want to find that information as well, and the level of expertise and all these things. And then there's as well podcast, like now with Unlock Your Growth podcast, you can learn some from us as well. There's a lot of things. Can ask questions to people that you think that they know things or like that. And then the books, the PDF books, you can just, if you know what you want to learn or what you want to grow in, you can just type, and then so many things will come from that. Like personally, that's how I've learned. I like, I will hear about something, or something will come in my mind. I will just go. I type. I get, if there's some free stuff. Some free books. I will get it, or you can read, like like there's articles, there's blogs, and all the stuff. So it's things that you can learn from, and then books as well. Like there's books that you can buy. I don't think books are expensive. It's investment on your growing,
I like that.
Buy, you can invest in the book. You buy a book so that you can learn more and then grow.
And learning is an investment,
yes,
right? Because people look at, I used to like kind of scoff at people when I hear they spend 10,000 Rand on this course, and I was like, what are you, crazy, man? But now, I mean, a person that understands the power of learning and the power of growth, for them, that 10,000 Rand is not a lot, because they understand the return they're going to get on that growth. So I like what you said, that books and, learning is an investment. It's very important for us. I think a lot of times we lose the desire to learn because we stop being curious. We think that what we know is enough, and we're not really interested or curious about what we don't know. And that's the biggest problem about learning, is not what you know, but it's what you don't yet know. And there's so much that we don't know. There's so many things that we can learn, and to be curious is one of the key ways that we can keep on motivating our learning mindset, and keep pushing ourselves to want to learn more, because we're curious after knowing more and experiencing more, and also improving ourselves and growing. There's a quote that I want to read for our listeners from Tony Robbins. He said this, and he said, "Cultivate curiosity. If you really want to grow in your lifetime, learn to be as inquisitive as a child. Curious people are never bored, and for them, life becomes an unending study of joy." Right?
Oh, wow.
Like, how can you become bored if like the whole world is out there to learn from? It's just, there's so much that we can learn, and the more we learn, the more we grow, and the more we grow, the better our experience of life is.
And I like what he just said, like, the quote that you just read here, like to be like a child, A child will want be curious to learn, or to learn new things. And then that's how we should be, We should be always curious to learn new things, and then always asking ourselves, what I don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
So by first starting by asking yourself what you don't know, that can lead you to the next step of now to get what you don't know. Because everything, I think, starts by a question. If you don't have a question of what you don't know, you won't get anything.
Yeah. I know everything already.
And then most people, they don't have that mind of a child. And these things like this happen on, like, companies, in your job, in your church, in your organization. You don't know what you can add more in that organization. You don't know what you can grow in that organization so that you can add value in your organization, in your company. And then the only way we can add value to ourselves is by learning, because already it's something that we don't have. And then for you to get it, you have to go outside and then learn or get what you can. Like courses, we go to university for what? Because we want to learn.
Yeah. But then somewhere, as we're growing up, we are very curious and we learn a lot of things. But then somewhere along the line, we become too big for learning. It's like, okay, I have my school education, I have my degree, I have my job. I'm just going, and then we stagnate. We just settle there and we stop learning. And that's why life becomes so boring. That's why life just becomes like a repeated, like a hamster wheel. You're just running every day on the same wheel. Everything is the same. And to be honest, when things are the same all the time, they don't taste better every time. It tastes worse every time. Like if I think about what is your favorite thing to drink?
Must I say it?
Yes.
I like Coke.
Coke? Okay.
Yeah.
It's very bad. Good for you. But if I gave you Coca-Cola like every day,
no,
you're going to get tired of it, right? It will lose its flavor. And it's not that the Coke changed. It's that you have become so familiar with it. And many people, our lives become flavorless because we are just the same all the time. And like where I am now in my life, it's like a really challenging space to be in, but I'm enjoying my life, right? Yeah, it's not easy all the time, but I'm constantly forced to learn new things because I'm putting myself out there to learn new things. But I want to go over into our second point here, which is that you are not growing because you don't have a vision. You don't have a vision. Now we know that vision is extremely important for not only, many times we think about vision and we only think about vision for companies, right? Like we see, okay, companies need a vision statement, which they slap it onto their website and then it's forgotten, and it's something, it's like this archive thing that's just there, and you go to the company, hey, what's your vision, guys? And they, let me go to the website and see. But even in our personal lives, and most people don't know this, but even in our personal lives as people, we need to have a personal vision for our lives. And many times we are not stimulated to keep growing because we don't have a vision or a dream to reach for. I think many times we think that a vision is something that, it's like this thing that only business people need, or only companies need, or only people that are very serious, like busy lives, or like it's the leaders that need to have the vision. But no, even as a person that's just working for a company, or you have your own business, or you are still studying, like you need to have a vision for your life. You need to have something that's beyond you in order to reach for that. Yesterday we spoke a little bit about goals and visions. So maybe Christian, you can. What do you think is the relationship between goals? Because goal setting is that short-term growth. What do you think is the relationship between having a vision and goals, and how does that help us to grow?
I think I will explain this by this example of the Bible. They search the wise men, the one that they saw the vision of that the child will be born in a certain place. Those wise men, they had the vision of where the child will be born, but they were supposed to go to that place. And then what was leading them, it was a star. Our goal can be a star that can lead us to where we want to go. if you have a vision, for example, your vision is to start a company. You can't start a company in your mind. Vision is like something that vision is in your head, and then even if you write it down, it's still your thoughts that you are writing down, but it has to come. You have to put it in the work so that it can be something that you can touch, something that you can hold with your hands. You see. So the goal now, it's something that can take you step by step just to lead you to your vision. Example, your goal can be maybe, okay, I want to start a business. I want to start to sell like cell phones. Okay, before you to have cell phone, you want some capital. Okay, your goal now is to be, okay, I want to start with 2 phones. Okay, let me look for this amount of money so that I can buy the phones. That's goal. The first goal is to get the capital so that you can start your business. And once you get your business, you have the phones to sell. Now, the second goal is to sell those phones. And then once you sell the phones, you want now to increase. And to increase, now your goal to be to go to move from 2 phones to 4 phones. And then your goal is more you reach you reach your goal, more you increase your goal. And then from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to 6, and then that you go. But first is your vision of starting a business of phones. And then now you go and then you grow from that. And then most people, they don't grow because already the vision is not there. They don't know what they... I will give another example of a doctor. I've been with her somewhere. It was a meeting, something like a conference. She gave a testimony why she left the practice. A full doctor, so many years in the at school first.
Medical doctor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So many years studying to be a doctor, a medical doctor. And then she even started to practice and working as a doctor, like a specialist doctor, medical doctor. But after so many years, and then she was like, no, okay, these things is not for me. Now she left the practice and she became a estate agent, like started selling houses and started business.
Yeah.
Why she didn't start straight by the business? Because she didn't have the vision of what she want for her life. At the beginning, she thought like, I want to do this, and then after that,
maybe somebody else said that's what she should probably do.
Yeah,
you're smart. Why don't you become a doctor? It's like,
you see that you don't have a vision of your life, and then you won't grow. Even it's very important for us to have a vision, because if you don't, it's very difficult for you to love something that is not in your vision.
Yes, that's true.
And then when you don't love it, you won't grow in it.
No.
Because you'll be working just to get a salary to pay your bills.
And you won't make investments in that thing. You won't want to spend anything for it because you don't love it. You're like, I'll just do enough to get by.
So imagine how many people are stuck in certain jobs, in certain things, or they are nowhere just because they didn't have a vision, or they don't have a vision. And when you don't have a vision, you don't know where to go. Yeah. Where are you going?
We're aiming. There's a quote by Michelangelo. He says, the greatest danger is not that we aim too high and miss it, but that we aim too low and reach it. Like, that's the greatest danger, because if you aim too low because you don't have a vision and you reach that goal, then you're not going to grow. You are not growing, and you're doing the opposite of growing. You are just settling. You're in the Bible, there's a term that says settle on your lease, which means to, like, when water is just sitting there, it becomes like filthy. It's like you've just settled down in your life. And that, the idea of settling down is just such a terrible idea. Like, if you want to destroy your life, then settle down. Just like do nothing for the rest of your life. Let's retire and let's, what's your vision? Oh, I want to retire. That's not a vision. You retire, and then what are you going to? You actually know there's a statistic that says that many people die within the first 10 years of retirement.
Because they don't have any vision.
Because now what? You retired, and now what?
To retire was a goal.
Yeah, but there's nothing beyond that.
That's why it's better to have a vision than to have a goal. Because a vision, but inside the vision you will have goal.
Yes, you will.
And then the goal, it will be taking you, for example, okay, you want to retire, you retire, now you can start a business, something so that you can keep you busy, you'll be doing there, and then go, maybe you say, no, okay, I can be maybe to start something new, or I can do something new from that. And that goes with your vision, because my vision is always to help people. A lot of people, like so many people in the world.
Like a whole country full of people.
Like a whole country, like a whole continent, like the world, like to change the world. And then for you to change the world or to help people, you have to go from the step. That's why you see, even here we are in our Unlock Your Growth podcast, because we want to reach more people. We want to add value, and then that's helping people. Telling you that you are not growing because of your vision, because you're the lack of a vision, or because you don't have a vision, is just to remind you to check on yourself. Like, ask yourself, do you have a vision? Do I have a vision? And then that way you can start, because you don't want a tree, you want just a seed. And then that seed will become a tree. And then this is what we are trying to do in this moment.
Very good. Wow. I enjoy that. Awesome. I wanna there's another quote that I want to read, and then we can go on to point number 3. And the quote that I want to maybe leave us with in terms of vision is actually by Helen Keller. And I don't know if you know the history of her, but she was a girl that was born blind and deaf at the same time. So she couldn't see and she couldn't hear. But she went on to graduate from a university. She got a degree. I can't remember what field of study it was. But she learned how to somebody would write in her hand, and that's how she started learning to speak, through like touch. And she actually finished university like without being able to see and without being able to hear. And it's like, that's the power of a vision, right? Yet she didn't. And she actually said this. She said, there is something far worse than being blind. And that is being able to see, but not having a vision.
Wow. Oh.
It's like you can see, but you have no vision, because even though you see, you don't see. You only see what is in front of you, but you cannot see beyond. You have been blinded by today's circumstances. And you live your life every day only based upon what you see. And that's why we don't grow.
And then what is said is like, Molo, there's most of us, we are in that stage. We can see with our eyes, but we can't see with our spirit. And to see with your spirit, that's a vision. And then I can give an example of Jesus. Jesus had a vision of the world. He wanted to save our lives. And that was his vision.
It's like in Romans it says, God sees those things which are not as though they are, because he doesn't see us now, but what we shall be. So that's very true. That's awesome. So the third point that I want to go to, for the reason why you are probably not growing, the third point is because you're trying to avoid pain, or you are staying in your comfort zone. So Christian, I'm going to just throw this one straight into your hands, and then maybe you can just talk a little bit about that. Why should we not avoid pain? Like, what normal person runs to pain or discomfort?
This one, I think it's the worst one, because yes, you can have a vision, you don't have a vision, but most people, they don't even try to work on their vision because they're avoiding the pain. The pain of failing, the pain of losing. That's the pain of losing. It went
like
straight with me.
All the money you lost.
I'm telling you. Hey, like you'll see. Let me just cut it. Let me just take this small money. Let me lose small, and then now you feel like, no. Let me just leave it. It will return up, and then you'll be waiting for that stock to go to change the direction, or that market that you are busy working on, like, or trading, to, like, it will go until you lose all your money. You have been avoiding that pain of losing that money, and then you end up losing everything, and then you are stuck. Now you have to now to start.
I think you should stop talking about this. This is too painful.
Now you start to look for again money, and then you are stuck by then, or you are not growing. And then if you don't learn by that, you end up doing the same thing. This is what I like, is like all these points that we are talking about, they are linked. And then they're linked, and then, but one can make you not grow.
Yes.
That's why we are giving them 5, because it's not like for you. You can find yourself in 1,
yes,
or in 2, or in 3, but almost I'm finding myself in.
Yeah, I mean, to different degrees, we might realize that there's a little bit here, a little bit there, or this one is a big one. And that's even when we work with clients, right? When we do the key growth point analysis, is that we look for those points, because it might be 1 or it might be 20 different areas that you need to grow in. But if we don't know that that's the problem, then how can we grow in them? So pain is one of those things that we don't enjoy pain at all.
And then even if like, most of us, we are in relationships. Most people, they stay in abusive relationships or abusive environment, just because that pain of losing someone, that pain of things, they're stuck in those things. That pain of, they're avoiding the pain of being alone.
Fear of having no one. Rather have somebody that hurts you than having no one. I've actually heard somebody say that to me before, so that's very interesting. But also, like, the pain of growing, because we even know when you, like, for example, when you go to the gym, the gym it's painful, right?
Painful, yeah.
It's when you're lifting heavy weights that it feels like your muscles are going to tear. Like, just be careful when you do that. But you are running on I don't really like running. I like doing weights, but when it comes to running, I'm not a runner, but I know the importance of running. So sometimes I'll do my workout and then I'll go and just run on the treadmill or something, but it's just I don't enjoy it. Nothing about it is enjoyable for me. But I understand that it's important for my growth, and maybe it's painful now, but later it's going to become enjoyable because I need to push myself to grow beyond my comfort zone. But anything outside of the comfort zone is pain. It's painful to learn. It's painful to grow, because without pain, there is no gain. The saying.
This remind me the time that I decided to start to do 200 kg to lift. It was painful. You leave the gym suffering. You can't even go behind your back.
You can't scratch your back.
Even when you are sleeping, you can't move because it's painful. But
But do you let me ask you? Do you enjoy that pain?
No.
When your muscles are sore, even though it's sore, it hurts.
Yes.
But do you feel good?
I feel good because I'm getting the result.
And you feel like you've done something,
yes.
Right?
Mm.
So how many times do we avoid pain in our lives because we have a negative connotation to it? But when you go to the gym and you're sore tomorrow, you're like, yeah, man, I did it. You feel it's sore. Many times my wife, she will say why are you doing this to yourself? Because I need to. It's good, So it's there is pain, but because we understand what that pain means for us, it means growth in the gym. No, I mean, sometimes you just do stupid things and you get hurt, and that's not
someone just told me that he was no, my back is painful. Just yesterday, my back is painful. I was doing this, and then painful. I was no, okay, maybe we just didn't do it.
Yeah, your form was wrong. So there is a pain which is out of foolishness, but then there is a pain which is out of growth. But what if we could have the same mentality in life? To say, yes, there is discomfort, and yes, this is not nice right now. But because I understand the benefits of this pain and the discomfort, I can endure it.
Mm.
Because I see what fruit it's going to bear in my life later on. If we had that kind of mentality, how much more would we grow, right? I had to change so many things. And it was not easy. It was painful to leave my country. It was painful because you are leaving your parent, your family, your friend behind you. But I think that pain, it was fruitful to me because of what I'm becoming today. That change, because change is painful. You are changing from your comfort zone to a place that you don't know. Especially me, from a country that speak French, to a country the first thing is okay. What am I going to say? It's talk. What's the language there? Already the language is stressing you, and then a country that you don't know, it's your first time to visit the country. See, but it's painful, and you think about your parent, you think about your friend, you think about things that you are used to things that will be new to people that maybe they won't be nice to you. It's painful. You feel that pain in your heart, but you have to take that step. You have to go. You have to do it so that you can reach your goal, or so that you can become what you want to become.
And then that's one of the things that's most of the time block people, because already in their mind they have certain things that like their own world that they make for themselves, and then for them to leave it or for them to change, it's very difficult. And then we can even go back to the example of the gym. You can see someone on TV or in the street, I like this body. I want to become like this person. But you can be stuck in the position just by going. I know a friend who will pay for a subscription at the gym, and then after that he goes 2 times, 3 times, and then he feel pain and he just leave because it's painful. The money, it's fine, it can go, but I'm not going to that pain. But you want to become like this, and then you don't want to suffer for it. And then most of the time, the pain is just the beginning. The gym, you feel the pain maybe the first week, the second one, the first month, and then you are okay. And then maybe the pain can come again if you want to grow from where you are to the next level. You want to add maybe to the heavy stuff that you want to grow. Maybe you want to grow this, and then you suffer. But even when you grow in your goals, there will be some pain, but that pain is not forever. We have to know that pain is not forever.
Yes.
But it's something that we can't avoid if we want to grow.
Pain is like part of the investment, right? Like you have to part with something if you want to get something bigger. And so it's I like what you said. It's very important for us to understand that without pain, really, there is no growth, or maybe there can be growth, but it will be so small, insignificant growth. Things that get wiped out immediately. Like you just go to the gym once, and then I did something, and then poof, it's over. So I want to go on to the 4th point here, and then actually I have another quote here. I like a nice quote by this one is by Chris Hardwick, and he says that no human ever became interesting by not failing. The more you fail and recover and improve, the better you are as a person. Have you ever met someone who's always had everything work out for them without any struggle? They usually have the depth of a puddle, or they don't exist. And there's another saying that I've really I always keep this close to my heart, and it says that anything in life that's worth having are things that are worth fighting for. And if we are not willing to step outside of our comfort zone and to endure a certain level of pain in our lives, then we should not want anything. Then we should not complain if life is throwing us, lemons or whatever like that. Like we should not complain about life if we are not willing to pay the price that is required for us to grow. Because
everything has a price.
Everything has a price. Even the Bible speaks about that. Count the costs. Like everything has a price. And if you want great things out of life, you better be willing to invest a lot into life. You have to pay that. But most of us, we just want to be left alone. We just want to be comfortable. But then we complain about our world, but we're not doing anything about it. So I want us to move on here. We don't want to stay too long on the podcast, but to number 4, which is you're not growing because you don't have a mentor. And this is the one that I said that I think our listeners will be surprised at, because many people think of mentorship as something that's only needed for sports people or for actors or for kung fu. Like you need a Mr. Miyagi in your life, Daniel-san. like we think about mentors as only for high performance, for business or CEOs, but the reality is that all of us, no matter what level of life you are playing on, in order for you to grow, you need a mentor, because a mentor is the person that is able to know what you don't know, to have experienced what you have not experienced, to see what you don't see, and to give you objective feedback. And that is something, especially for Oxano, that's something that we purpose to do, is not just to sell our clients products, but we are mentors to them. We help them. We walk with them. We don't just coach them, but we also consult with them to help them to understand the process and to give them objective feedback so that they can understand where they are. But many people in life, they struggle to get past where they are at because they don't have a guide. When you think about the story, the hero and the guide stories, like every great hero has a guide. Somebody that takes them from an old world, an old person, the old way of doing things, and gives them the wisdom and the knowledge and the guidance in order to go beyond themselves, to grow. And a lot of people, a lot of us, we are just like, well, I can do it on my own, or I can learn on my own. You can learn on your own. But think about this. If you learn on your own and something takes 5 years to study, it's going to take you 5 years or more to learn that thing. But if you have somebody that has already learned that thing and they have the experience to know how to apply that thing in better ways, you can cut down your learning time to 5 months or to a year, because you can get all their experience, years of experience, condensed into small lessons, and they can already tell you, don't push that button, that's a bad idea. Because they did that. But if you don't know, it might take you a long time to realize that that's actually the problem. And a lot of the things that we struggle with in our lives is because we don't see the area. And that's why we're having this podcast, right? Because many people, they don't know why they're not growing. But through listening to a podcast like this, you might realize, oh, I need a mentor. That's my problem. Like, I have a vision, I don't mind pain, but I've been struggling to get off. Like, this thing is just not getting off the way I want it to do. It's not working. So maybe the mentor is the problem. You don't have somebody to keep you accountable, to encourage you, to push you a little bit.
I've learned, I read a lot. That person, I read a lot. I want to know. I have that hunger of learning. And in 2 years, I was learning, reading, doing things like, and then try to do things by my own. But I remember my biggest lesson was through a mentor. Because first I saw him doing the things that I wanted to learn. I saw him, that lesson of me doing things together with him helped me to learn more, even for life. And then that lesson, it was a lesson that helped me in every area of my life. You see. And then even the new way now, university, it's mostly becoming like a business. Of we are selling the books, we are selling the things. The reason even why we call we introduce ourselves as a tribe, it's in that mindset of being together and learning together, and then even making mistakes together, and then relearning them together, and then it's a lifetime, because you can go to the university, it will be for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You leave university, and then what?
you still don't know what to do.
And then you can be like, even your vision, even your comfort zone, you need someone who will like guide you.
Yes.
No, someone who will tell you, no, what you are doing, it's wrong.
Yes.
Don't do that.
You need somebody, like I want our listeners need to understand this. You need somebody in your life that can disagree with you.
Yes.
Right? Because like people that agree with you, they will make you feel comfortable. But those that disagree with you will help you to grow, because you will learn something. You'll see things differently. And like John Maxwell actually talks a lot about this, and he says that it is when you are building a team, and one day we're going to talk about teamwork and leadership on the podcast, but he says when you are building a team, it is important that your team is diverse, because you as a person, you have many gaps. You have knowledge gaps, you have experience gaps, you have sight gaps, you don't see everything that is happening, you don't know, like there's so much that we lack. And when you have somebody that can help you to see those things and to disagree with you, like it's not nice, going back to the previous point, it's not nice to be wrong, but you need somebody to tell you are wrong.
You're wrong.
Because how would you ever grow if you don't know the way you're doing things are wrong, or it's not the best way to do it? We don't like correction, but without correction, we can't grow.
We can't grow.
So mentorship is more than just somebody that shouts at you in the gym.
And it's very important. Now, a mentor can help you with the first three.
Mm-hmm.
A mentor can help you with your vision. He can help you to define your vision. That's what we do with Oxano.
Yes.
We help you to identify first the key point where you can grow in. And then by knowing those key points, we can now build a plan, a growth plan for you, so that from that growth plan, you can start to work on that. But you are not just working alone, but we are working with, working together with you. We take you to that journey. We take you to that. We do with you. And then that is something that's end for. It's not something for 12 months. We are together. We are a tribe. We are a family. We go with you until you unlock your growth, until you get where you want to go. In that package, in that plan, they will work on your vision. If you don't know your vision, we'll work on that. And then if you don't know your mission, we'll go with that, your goal, and then that's it. You need it. And then with a mentor can help you even with your fear of pain.
And that's the next point that we're going to get into in a moment just now. But you can finish what you wanted to say.
We really need a mentor in our lives. In everything that we are doing, we need someone that we can be accountable to, someone that can tell us, no, you are wrong. Even if you feel like you
don't want to hear it. Shut up.
But at least you get it, and then you desire the justice, and then
that has been some of my greatest growth moments. Was at times where I was told that I'm wrong. I hated to hear that. I didn't want to hear that because we are proud. And I was trying to do my best. And sometimes it feels like a slap in the face, but it's a sobering slap in the face. Like it wakes you up and you realize, like, I need to be better. I need to grow. I need to change the way I am and the way I'm doing things. So in that moment where people have told me in the past that whether it's indirectly or indirectly, a mentor, somebody that like I look up to, like they tell me I'm wrong, that has been my greatest growth moments. Because that in that moment you can start to consider what you are doing. And you think about it. But we can receive that, or we can't, or we don't receive that. And that's the next point, and the last point that we want to talk about today. Why you are not growing, and the fifth and final point is because you have mental or emotional blocks. Now, I think a lot of the things that we've spoken about today, we've already mentioned a lot of those mental blocks. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of pain, a desire to be comfortable. Right, those things are mental blocks. They can be emotional blocks, whereas you are where you feel anxious about what you don't know. Right, there can be feelings of depression even when we are not growing, and that depression can hinder you from being able to see what you can become. You're unable to see hope. You're unable to see the light, even though it's right there. And so it's very important that we understand that it's very possible for you to have a mental block or an emotional block that's hindering you from growing because it's holding you back. And when you want to grow, you have to learn to let go. You have to let go of your fears and face them. You have to let go of your pride and put it in a box and kick it into the fire and throw it down, get rid of it.
Yes.
You have to let go of your own beliefs that limit you. You believe that you are not good enough. You believe that you can't do it. You believe that no one would listen to you. You believe that you don't have any value to add. Right? Imposter syndrome. You start something, but then because of the way you view yourself, you stop because you don't believe you can do it. Or when you start to succeed, you sabotage yourself because you think you don't deserve it. Many people quit relationships, destroy their own relationships, or destroy their own businesses because they believe they don't deserve that success. They don't belong there. And so these mental blocks can really, really hinder your growth, or even destroy the growth that is already taking place. It's very important for us to recognize these things and to deal with them as soon as possible. Otherwise, your growth is going nowhere.
And then this is one of the good things that our people in our tribe are going to have benefit from, because Oxano, we don't only deal with things that, we deal even with mental problems, like emotional problems, because we have mindset development specialists. We go to, we check it, because by analyzing, we're having a proper analysis or a proper work on you. You might find that your emotional problems can be just from your childhood, the environment where you grow up. And then we can go and then just discover and find something. Maybe you have just to adjust something. Maybe you have just, but it's something that can block you from even thinking. A mental problem can block everything. Even I think even in the science, there's a process with our nerves that the stress or the mental emotional problems can cause to our thinking. So, and then a person who is in that stage or in that problem, most of the time we don't know that my problem is this. Because for you are okay. I know someone, she just left. She wanted to leave her marriage because she was having so many things in her head. There were so many problems. And then she couldn't, and she just got married, I think it can be 2 years or a year or 2 years. But now she wants to divorce. Why? Because she's having a mental problems, emotions, and all those stuff are troubling her. But herself, for her, she's okay. And then when you are having a discussion with her, you can see that she's having a problem, but she can't see that she has a problem. And then a person like that, you won't grow in your marriage, because there will always be a fight with you, because with your spouse, like with you, like there will always be a problem. And then things like that, someone has to tell you or to help you to go through that. A person, it can be even be in your business. You can't run a business with that problem, because you'll be treating like this is the every business, there is always a part of emotional, like there is always a part that is emotional. Dealing with a client, it's emotion.
Dealing with your staff,
it's emotion, because they have their emotions, you have yours, and then they have their problems, and then you have yours, and then this is what you want things to be, and this is what they think things has to be. And then that can be something that can not like that can block your growth.
Yes. Oh, it can even drain your business profitability, right? Because you'll be spending so much time off from work, so much money on mental issues, and if they're not dealt with, and like there's a lot of focus now, which is a good thing in mental health within the workplace, because for many years it was just ignored. Like there's no leave for mental health issues. You can't take leave for that. So many companies are realizing that this is costing us more money than giving a person leave, because if we give them the space to deal with their mental health and to be healthy mentally and emotionally, they can perform better. The production goes up, the sales go up, like our company does better. The way you treat, imagine if you're going through a difficult time and you have to deal with clients, you just want to smack somebody, like you don't want to deal with other people because you can't. And this is something like, like people always say, you need to separate work and personal life. Rubbish, man. You cannot separate work and personal life, because you are a person.
Yes.
You're not a robot. You cannot just forget. And I remember I was working at a job some years ago with some crazy lunatic person that was having this company, and this person, the one morning we got to work, and she started shouting and swearing at one of the staff, and she in front of everybody, she shouted at this guy, and she said, "Don't you ever contact me again with your personal problems. I don't care what's going on at your house or in your marriage. You will show up for work, and you will," like the guy, I promise you, a grown-up man, started crying in front of everybody because of the way she treated him. Like that. I resigned that job, thank God, in time, and I resigned because of that. Because I realized I will die in this place. The mental strain is like you cannot operate in that. Like you become a zombie, and a zombie does not grow. So it's like if your mental health and your emotional health is not taken care of, and you are not focusing on understanding your disposition in your mind and the way you think, and you are not looking after, and I can even add in this, your spiritual life. If you're not looking after these things, your growth will be stifled. It will stop. It will be destroyed. It's very important that in people, like, you cannot just push yourself every day. You need to rest. You cannot just say, these things don't matter. My marriage doesn't matter. I need to run this business. Like, no. If you want to grow, you have to sometimes stop, analyze, get help, work on the things that are important so that you can give all the attention and energy into your growth. Otherwise, things will just be destroyed. And so it's very important for us to understand that some of the reasons why you're not growing might be mental or emotional blocks. And I just want to summarize for us as we are closing off. Surprise! I just want to summarize for us with the last 5 points, and that is just to remind us again, 5 reasons why you're probably not growing. The first one is you're not learning. The second one is you don't have a vision. The third one is you're avoiding pain or you're staying in your comfort zone. The fourth one is you don't have a mentor. The fifth one is you have mental or emotional blocks in your life. And so these things are really important. And if you have listened to this podcast and maybe you realize that you would like to have some more information or some more help, please feel free to contact us. You can contact us on our email address or just in the podcast comments. The email address is info@𝐁𝐂𝐂𝐂𝐂𝐂7 with the word, not the letter 7, 𝐁𝐂𝐂𝐂𝐂𝐂7.com, and be free to ask us any questions or to connect with us. Christian, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. It was wonderful to have you here.
It was a pleasure to be, we want to really to help. We want to be to work as a tribe. So we are there, we still going to be here. This was the second episode, and then next week we'll be here again, and then you are welcome to join us again and again and again
and again. Awesome. Thank you. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.